When we plan for Christmases of all things, why are we putting these things together? It's for the memories, it's for the experiences.
Welcome to a festive edition of the Fiscal Foxhole, the podcast that proves you don't need a finance degree to win the money battle. Just some grit, a solid game plan, and maybe a little holiday cheer. Your hosts, retired Army veteran Rob Moore and retired Marine veteran Omen Quelvog, are here to help you dodge financial landmines, call in air support on your savings, and laugh at the money mistakes we've all made. Because even Santa has a budget. If you can survive mandatory fun days and holiday block leave, you can survive personal finance. So grab some cocoa and settle in. Welcome to the Foxhole.
Welcome to the Foxhole. I am your host, Omen Quelvog, and joined with me, as always, is the Santa's other helper, Rob Moore.
The largest elf in the North Pole, 6'4". You know, I'm basically Will Ferrell elf at the North Pole helping out Santa. Yeah, it's me. I'm over here putting up lights in the foxhole. We are not observing operational security tonight. We are going to be lit up. It is Christmas Eve. Time to have the lights out. We got the tree decorated here. The lights are around the rim of the foxhole, nice and cozy. Little dusting of snow around us. This is nice.
Yeah, we definitely got the snow. And also, we have not had base safety come around to tell us that we couldn't plug in too many things into the outlets in the foxhole. So I know that we are breaking several instances of code at the moment.
We're using up all the generator and the fuel for sure. I hear that thing humming.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, this episode, I've been looking forward to this episode, Rob, for a little while now because this episode is landing on Christmas Eve. I mean, we couldn't have planned this out any better that our first year in podcasting, that not only does this land on Christmas Eve, our next week's podcast also lands on New Year's Eve. So we get to celebrate 2 weeks in a row right before the holidays. I've been really looking forward to these particular episodes.
Yeah, no one else is working right now. Why should we? I've been looking forward to these for a long time. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for today and next week. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I certainly do not plan on working during this podcast. In fact, we've got our warm beverages sitting here, right? Cheers to you, Rob.
Hey.
And as we try, I've got this is my Christmas movie watching mug here. And as I describe this to our audience, I do apologize that this is an audio only podcast because we are right now a sight to see. So I've got my mug here. Rob, what is your mug?
Yeah, just to warn, we've talked about Christmas movies for 2 episodes now. So don't turn us off. We're not going to talk about it for a third one. This is different. It's about Christmas, but not movies. But yeah, that's a nice mug. I like that. No, mine is Santa's belly and butt, I guess, on the other side. So I have to decide carefully which one I'm drinking out of. But inside, I've got a nice little spiked coffee beverage that I'm enjoying. We talked about having a cocktail during this. It's like 3:00 though, not quite happy hour. And I like to be functional the rest of the day. So this was when you said like a spiked hot chocolate, I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's it. So I'm enjoying a little spiked coffee, a little Kahlua cream, etc.
Nice. Love it. And then for the Christmas sweaters, right? Like this is actually the first time I've popped into a ugly Christmas sweater this season. I've just not had an excuse to do it until now. And yet again, we don't have any real visuals. We'll release some social clips so some people might see this. But what you got there?
Okay. Well, first of all, this is your ugly Christmas sweater as opposed to the ugly sweaters you normally wear, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Clearly.
Oh, and that is an incentive to follow us on social media. I'm Everman Prosperity, all one word. What's your socials? I don't know if we put that on the show notes. We should do that. What's your socials?
Yeah, we should probably do that. Yeah, I'm at Formator Wealth Management.
Perfect.
That's that's mine.
Wait, what was the question? What my sweater? Kahlua is kicking in. Okay, so this is my on the border of reverent Christmas sweater. It's ugly and
I'm pretty sure you crossed the border.
Brace yourself. It is here, stand up. I can do this half squat. Yeah.
Yeah. Irreverent.
Yeah. That is not so baby Jesus in a baby Bjorn that I'm holding. My defense in this is I'm holding Jesus close to my heart here with this Christmas sweater. I'm quite proud. I bought this a while ago, like 4 years ago. a buddy kept twisting my arm for an ugly Christmas sweater party. And I was like, all right, well, let me go find the ugliest one. I think I found it.
Yeah. I've got the, I'll do my little squat here, but
Yep.
the ugly Auburn sweater there, but I've got to support them somehow. And this is actually how we generated enough money to continually pay off our coaches that we fire every 2 years. So
Selling
you got to buy an ugly
Christmas
sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have an advantage though to begin with, starting with the colors, right? They don't have to change the colors to make it ugly. It works perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Before we have too
All
much
right,
fun, what are we talking about? What are we doing today?
Well, this episode is going to be a Christmas story foxhole style. So for us, I thought it'd be fun to take a trip down memory lane. We've had a few Christmases under our belts at this point, some in the military, some out of the military. And I thought it would be fun to get behind the why we do what we do with financial planning, right? When we plan for Christmases of all things, why are we putting these things together? It's for the memories. It's for the experiences. So I thought it'd be fun for us to go down memory lane with a few of our own experiences.
Exactly. That's why we do everything we do, is to, make moments that are memorable. We're trying to make memories. It's not all about dollars and cents. The dollars and cents is the tools to get us there, right? Is the like we talked about that one episode a few ago where the teenager that remembered the trip over any present she got the year before, it's about making memories. So this is a great opportunity for us to just have fun recalling some of the greatest stories from our lives, pointing out like that these can happen at any time. It could be this year. It doesn't have to be money related, but money is kind of how we get there and support these moments that we're looking for.
Well, as usual, before we get into our favorite Christmas stories, we have a headline to get to. Today's headline: NORAD ready to track Santa's flight for the 70th anniversary year. What kind of financial significance does this have? Absolutely none, in keeping with the theme of our podcast.
You were promised no financial information. This definitely falls right into that. Real quick, so we're talking about NORAD. It's missile defense, right?
Yeah, and I did kind of wonder if we should get into this at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my last profession, was integrated air and missile defense, and we're talking about NORAD and Santa and tracking Santa. Like, I kind of know the ins and outs of figuring out who the bad guys are in the sky.
Yeah, this is safe for kids,
like,
right?
I want to assure the kids out there that
Okay.
as long as Santa's squawking the right IFF codes, like, he's going to be good to go. All right, that's all we need we need him to squawk the right IFF.
Yeah, and NORAD is expecting Santa every year, like clockwork.
Every year.
Yeah.
Every year. Well, hey, if you didn't know the history of how this came about, actually, it's really interesting. 1955, a child mistakenly dialed an unlisted number of the Continental Air Defense Command Operations Center in Colorado Springs, believing that she was calling Santa after she saw a promotion in a newspaper. Pretty unreal, right?
That's really cute.
So, yeah, I mean, how often would that happen? I'm sure we have people that misdial bases all the time, but just how random was this particular incident? But on that particular evening, Air Force Colonel Harry Shoup, on duty that night, quickly realized what had happened and assured the child that he would guarantee Santa's safety from the North Pole. That actually then rolled into the DoD's largest community outreach today.
Yeah, reading from the information you provided here, Omen, that the numbers vary, but somewhere around 15 million unique visitors on December 24th last year and 130,000 callers. It's just a really great asset. I think the most valuable to a parent is showing your child, like, hey, he's coming, like, oh,
That's
look,
right.
he's there. We got to get you to bed at a reasonable hour. I think Santa always does a good job being in the right spot to make sure we're like, hey, it's imminent. He's incoming. We got to get you to bed. Yeah, it's just a really wonderful service the DoD provides. It's not, sometimes winning hearts and minds involves this type of thing. I can't say enough good things about it. I think it's really great.
Yeah, so they have taken full advantage of technological advances over the years. They've got the tracking app now that you can download. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and all the other various socials. There's actually a call center as well. So I noticed in the call center, there's a mix of volunteers and voluntolds, but there ready to take phone calls from kids looking to know where Santa is. So really, really cool. We'll put some information in the show notes of this show, just in case you haven't heard, but a link over to their website anyway, so that you can also know where Santa is flying around this evening.
By the way, I know we're always going to tell our listeners to, like, share, and subscribe, and email us if they have any questions or thoughts for the show. If you know someone that's worked at the NORAD call center for this tracking, I would love to hear from them. Or if you're someone, a story of what it's like and what that experience is like, if you wouldn't mind hooking us up, I would personally love to hear that story, something maybe we could share on a future episode.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, let's just turn this into a year-round Christmas podcast. Let's just go.
Yes. Then we might get shut down.
Yeah, right.
All right. I think it's time to move on to our next segment of the show, which is A Christmas Story, Foxhole style. If you showed up here for the financial education side of things, you were probably in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
At least today. Probably next week too. I don't know. Maybe next week we'll have some fun with things.
Yeah.
But at least today, you're in the wrong spot. Today is all about a warm episode of. Oh, by the way, I see you taking your drink there.
Taking a sip. Speaking of warm and fuzzy, I'm trying to get warm. I'm warm and fuzzy inside. I'm halfway down.
Oh,
with
come
this.
on now.
Yeah, it's good.
We got a show to do.
It's good. To quote Clark Griswold, it's good.
Are you putting it in a pool? Anyway, what would a couple of military guys be without a few warm beverages and a few "so there I was" stories? Like, those are the best stories when you say "so there I was," because you know what's coming next is part truth, but maybe a little bit of fiction in there as well, just to, I don't know, what story doesn't have a little bit of embellishment in it. So for this, Rob and I, we're going to go back and forth a little bit, as we usually do, on some of our most memorable. Now, this doesn't mean good or bad necessarily. Some of these things are just some years that some significant things happened. We'll just say that.
Yeah, we're going to tell some stories, basically, right, about our favorite Christmases, our most memorable ones. Like I said in the intro,
I would say memorable.
Yeah, memorable. Good. Yeah, memorable. Good memorable. And bad, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So in this first story, I've got the breaking the holiday rotation. So Megan and I, this was the very first year in 2014, Megan and I had been trucking the boys around to my parents and her parents, taking years back and forth. And we never lived anywhere closer than a 12-hour drive to one of their homes, right? So in 2014, we were on our way back from, I believe it was my parents, and our boys were in tears. They were so done with traveling. I mean, we've already PCS'd, I don't know how many times by 2014, and we had just finished a number of visits between Thanksgiving and Christmas of us getting up and going somewhere else. So 2014 was actually the year that we said Santa comes to our house, and we kind of put our foot down on that one. And I'm telling you, Rob, like, I think that was one of the best decisions that we ever made. You know, our family, we asked them to start to come to us. I'm not sure exactly how we wound up always going to their house, but it was just kind of what we always did. And we finally decided that was not going to be the case. I wish we had done that a little bit earlier, actually.
How was that received by your family? Just curious.
I think that they received it quite well, actually. Maybe even surprised that hadn't come sooner. I'm honestly not sure why we didn't think about it before.
We did the same thing. We did it earlier. So as soon as Mary was born, that's when we put the foot down. And I remember telling Jenna, I said, no, we're the family now. This is us, and this is our Christmas. And I thought of this ahead of time. Feel free for you folks out there with kids, use this. It worked really well. I told my parents simply, I'm like, look, you did a wonderful job creating all the Christmas memories with us as a family. It's our turn to pass that down to the kids. And yeah, no objections whatsoever. They understood. And it really helped us kind of, galvanize the fact that we were a family unit, and we come first, and then we make accommodations for other folks. Like I said, they want to come in, grandparents come as much as often as you care to, especially around Christmas. Definitely welcome. Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was an element, though, of us getting back to our hometown that we grew up in. We hadn't seen it in a while. So I think there was a little bit of a desire to go back and kind of see things as it was. I mean, we were living in Yuma, Arizona. Like, we did not want to be in the desert any more than we had to be. So traveling to us wasn't as big of a deal, but we could see that it was kind of breaking things around the Christmas season. So, yeah.
That's a great story. Great memory. Good for you. Yeah. I'm sure your boys will remember that when they get older and have families of their own. Hopefully they'll pass that
Yeah.
tradition along. Yeah. So for my first story here, wait, are we doing snake draft before I start
Yeah,
here?
just go. Well, we'll just go back and forth.
Back and forth. Okay, great.
Back and
This
forth.
is no order for me. I didn't put them in a particular order, but one of the ones that popped first, I listed first because it was one of the most memorable. It did involve a gift that I got from my parents. One of the most memorable gifts. I can't remember where it was. I might have been a freshman in high school, maybe in eighth grade, but I had been playing piano and drums for a number of years, and I really wanted to get a drum set. I was working hard, practicing hard, and getting a lot better, having some success, as much as I guess you can at ninth grade. But I really wanted a drum set and had my eye on this particular one. Well, Christmas morning came and Christmas morning went, and there was no drum set from Santa or my parents. And, still feeling grateful for what I got. It was okay. But then there was one card on the tree my parents pointed to, opened it up, and it was a poem. And the beautiful thing about this is each verse of the poem led me to a different part of the house. It turned into a scavenger hunt around the house,
Nice.
finding the pieces of the drum set that were hidden everywhere. So they had hidden pieces in the oven, downstairs behind like the couch. The one verse I remember was, if you were having trouble sleeping, here's why. Lots of metal was laying nearby. And up near my bed was all the stands, all the hardware were underneath my bed.
Nice.
Yeah. It was like that. So the whole
Wow.
thing was a poem. We, collecting parts of the drums. But I do remember running around with my sister in tow, helping me. It was very exciting. My parents, obviously enjoying all the excitement. It was just a beautiful memory. Obviously, it has to do with a thing, but it's created this lifelong memory that I'll take with me for the rest of my life.
I love how creative your parents were with that. Like, we are very similar in that we love kind of creating things for our boys, like to send them on scavenger hunts or have to think about it for a little while or think that they weren't getting something that they are, or things like that. Like, I love how your parents did that with you. Were those stands under your bed? Like, when you woke up, you just didn't know they were there?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, they fold up, right? They're really small. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they had put
They just tucked them under there?
By the way, you bring up a really good point. I would have remembered the drum set regardless, but I had it for like 5 years maybe before we got rid of it, before I went off to college. So I would have remembered that. But the fact that, that my parents created that poem and did that whole scavenger hunt, that was the memory, right? Is rather than drum set, that was the memory. So thank you for kind of further refining my thought.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
Right. What about, all right, you're up next. What you got?
All right. For my next story, you remember I just finished telling you that we put our foot down and said, family's coming to us. So
wait, do I remember?
So there we were.
Do I remember 5 minutes ago?
A couple drinks in. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I do remember.
So,
yes, I do remember. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
So the next Christmas, we're still in Yuma, Arizona, and my father-in-law, who, I mean, he's active, but it's not like he's a football player, didn't grow up kind of doing that thing. Baseball was actually his thing. So we were playing football in our front yard, and, Papa, come get involved, come throw the ball, doing everything that you do with grandpas. Well, yeah, he stepped sideways in a hole that was in our lawn that I didn't know about and snapped his Achilles.
Oh,
Merry Christmas.
did he even get to play, or was he on his way out there?
I think it was like one play or like one or two plays. I mean, I can't
God.
remember that, but I do remember like how bad I felt that it was like nothing. It was like butter.
No.
Hot knife through butter.
So did that kind of ruin things? I mean, the day, or did the kids, like, do they recall that story?
Yeah,
how's this kind of lived throughout the years?
I don't want to say there's a little bit of bitterness there, because I don't think I've ever really detected the bitterness, but we clearly had to go to urgent care and get that all taken care of on Christmas Day, and he was hobbling around for the next however many days, and then they had to fly back, so with a boot on. So yeah, it was not great.
Yeah.
Not great.
The gift that keeps giving for the rest of the
That's
season.
right.
Yeah.
And the rest of your disability.
You're right. I mean, men our age, like, I think, well, you're young 40s, I'm almost 50. So I watch stuff on TV of people just doing normal agile things and semi-athletic, or even just kind of jumping down from something. I'm like, oh my God, it looks like a nightmare. I could never do that, So I wonder, like, with grandkids, grandpas that are out there trying to do this, hard for me to imagine myself doing it even 10 years into the future, much less that much later. But well, good for him for being a good sport and trying.
You know how it goes though. I mean, once you get an idea, like we're just dumb guys, right? Like as soon as you get an idea in your head, like, oh, I could go throw the ball. Like that's not a problem. And then next thing you know, you're running and making a tackle and breaking a couple ribs. So
Have you played softball as an adult?
young adult.
Yeah, I did not too long
Yeah.
ago. I haven't played in years or a long time, but yeah, like you said, somewhere in our frog brain as men, like you can't just take it easy.
No.
I'm sprinting between the bases or whatever. And
Nope.
even the guys on the team, like, hey man, you can take it easy. Like we're just having fun. I'm like,
Nope.
I can. And I see other guys, it's the same thing. Like once you get started and you have the threat of like making the play or whatever, you just can't turn it off.
Yep. That pain is a 3-day away problem for me. So
Yep. All right. My next one, I got Christmas morning recording. This was something my dad did. We were unaware. I don't know how old we were. We were definitely right in the thick of elementary school. Maybe fourth grade, sixth grade, third grade, and fifth grade or whatever between me and my sister. But my dad had the thought on Christmas morning that, they got out there, they saw what Santa had left. They see it there. Well, as they were getting their coffee, my dad pulled out the boombox, put in an empty cassette and hit record. And yeah, it's not the video. We didn't have a video cassette recorder. We didn't have any video camera, but we've got this audio recording of us coming out and discovering what Santa brought us and unwrapping presents, hearing their voices. And we've joked now for 40 years about some of the things we said as little kids, just silly, weird things that we said, opening presents in pure excitement, enjoying, screaming. Again, it's the memory that my dad created. That was the gift. I don't remember anything we got aside from what I heard me open. But the fact that he made that memory in that cassette tape, I'll never forget it. It reminds me, I need to get a hold of that recording and digitize it. I'm not quite sure where it is. I'm sure it was at my parents' house somewhere. But I do remember one thing, it makes me chuckle, is we got Freezy Freakies, and we were really excited about that. Do you remember those?
I have no idea what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
I think they probably died out of popularity by the time you got to elementary school, but they were gloves. And remember, this is like in the early 80s. Okay, so this was kind of new tech, but they had a patch on the back of a design. And, some of them were like animals or maybe a unicorn or a skier going down the hill, but they would change color if they got cold. So when you went outside and you were playing in the snow, the design or the graphic on your glove would change and you'd be able to check it out and look at it. Now I'm more excited about a mountain turning blue on a can than I am about my glove turning colors. But it's the same idea.
I was going to say maybe
Yeah. Yeah. But
that and the fact that you were probably wearing asbestos on your hand.
Right.
But it's okay. It's all right.
But definitely no helmet. That's for sure. But yeah, so it was a good memory my dad made for us. And now as I talk about, I got to get a hold of that, digitize it. But yeah, thanks, Dad. Really appreciate it.
Do you do that for your kids now? Or did you do that for your kids? Record them when they were opening up gifts?
No, I think the best we've done is my wife's real good about taking pictures and she takes video clips, which I think is really helpful. Where no one's going to watch a whole morning of people opening presents, but she makes sure we get them video and come down the stairs, which is really nice and fun. And it's kind of their initial reactions. And maybe if it's a significant gift that we know Santa brought and we can recognize it, we might get the camera ready on our phone. But no, we haven't done the same thing. We're trying to create special memories in our own way.
No, I got it. We have taken some recordings of particularly the gifts that our boys like really, really wanted. Mm-hmm. And we've gone back and actually watched those a couple times. And like you said, it's like just to listen to some of the silly things that they said when they finally found the gift or whatever, and they realized that this is what they really wanted. Yeah, it just brings joy to the heart. So
amen.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. All right, next story, Christmas in the AOR. So I know a few people probably have some Christmas deployed stories. Here's mine. Shortly after September 11th, 2001, got deployed to Saudi and then forward deployed into Afghanistan. So landed on Christmas Eve, 2001.
Wow.
And what an experience that was. So I had no idea. I mean, at that time, I didn't even know what Afghanistan was or where it was, but there I was at the airport. So yeah, that was definitely a unique experience, but one that I shared with a joint crowd, one Army, one Navy, one Air Force, myself, and a civilian technician, setting up a relay station for an AWACS. And I'll never, ever forget that experience out there. Although I did not appreciate being away from my wife, and Isaac was 12 weeks old at the time.
Wow.
It was definitely a unique experience I'll never forget. So,
what were the other service members? What kind of was the spirit high? Did you talk about the fact that it was Christmas or was all business? I know you're focused on what you have to do, but what was that experience like with them?
Yeah, I think we turned it into business. So when we landed, the airport had only been taken over for 3 weeks. And so we had a specific job to do, get things set up. And we did not have all the equipment with us that we needed. So we had to do a little bit of scrounging around to find it. So yeah, we did turn it into business, but I mean, I still stay in contact with those guys today. In fact, I don't know if Chief Rotten Otten is listening to the podcast, but yeah, it'd be great if he did, and a few other guys there too as well.
That's a really great story. Obviously I love the tie-in with the military. That's something I'm sure a lot of the service members listening can relate to, spending multiple Christmases overseas. It's heartwarming to see the Christmas spirit in the deployed service members every year. Yeah. The photos, videos you see of them making the best of it, obviously still focused on the mission that they have to do, but recognizing this important marker in their life and in the year, and sending messages home and making gifts as best they can, or receiving gifts, etc. It's always really nice to see. This is a different type of deployment, but this is a deployment to NYC, and this is with my in-laws.
That's combat right there. Definitely combat.
I love my in-laws. They're great. In that, I'm not being sarcastic. They are really wonderful. So Jenna's father was really big on experiences and trips with the family, getting everyone together. This was before children, before my sister and brother-in-law had kids, before we had kids. And so Jenna's father put these trips together for us all to be together and hang out, have a great time. So one year, it was probably 2000, I want to say it was 2006, because in 2007, that's another Christmas story I have coming up. But in 2006, we went to New York City together as an entire family. And I remember everything about that trip, from just being with her family and walking around New York City and Rockefeller Center and all the typical things we do. Ton of other really funny stories that kind of happened along the way. But one of the best parts was actually what happened before that. So as a service member serving in Arlington National Cemetery, I had funerals that we supported that morning. And I remember marching in to the cemetery from the chapel. And this was during Wreaths In. Are you aware of this? The tradition where the wreaths are put at every gravestone?
Oh, yeah.
So that had happened. One of my favorite times of year. Absolutely love it. And it was beautiful weather. It was cool, but not too cold. And still, it was just a really nice morning. So anyway, as we're walking down, I can smell the wreaths. You can smell the pine in the air from all of them.
Yep.
As we're going down. It was just an idyllic morning, supporting the mission, really enjoying what I do, and then have all this to look forward to get home in the afternoon, grab Jenna, head to the airport, get up to New York, and spend the evening and then the next few days with family. It was just all around this really great, wonderful Christmas experience with family. Again, memorable events. One other tidbit about this was really cool is we went to this really nice Italian dinner, and we were probably having a little too much Chianti during this. So we were just having a great time, and bottles of wine coming. We're having a great time. I eventually, as returning from the bathroom, I run to a guy, and I might have had a Michigan State scarf. I don't know why, but he mentions oh, Spartans, and small talk for a second. He's like, yeah, George Blaha is at our table. And George Blaha, which I'm sure you probably don't know, but he is a iconic, legendary sports broadcaster for the Pistons and Michigan State. I've listened to his voice for dozens, hundreds of games. I've heard him call games for Michigan State. Really big fan. I just couldn't believe it. So I had to go over with the liquid courage provided by fermented grapes. I go straight to his table and just interrupt these nice, polite people and introduce myself and just say hi, what a big fan I am. And I'm not quite sure how I sounded or presented myself, but that was a really cool one. But finally, all this to support, this is my father-in-law. Every time we got together, he would say it was the best whatever it is ever. So it was the best birthday ever, best Christmas ever, best Thanksgiving ever. And I have to say, of all the Christmases we had with him when he was still around, this was definitely one of the best Christmases ever. This episode is brought to you by the Military Financial Advisors Association.
MFAA is a global network of independent, fee-only fiduciary financial advisors who specialize in serving military families.
And we're not just highlighting it. Omen and I are members ourselves, so we know firsthand what they stand for.
That's right. Every member of MFAA is either active duty, a veteran, or a military spouse, so they truly understand the unique financial challenges that come with military life.
Plus, every advisor must hold or be actively pursuing the CFP designation, which is the gold standard in financial planning.
So let's put that together. When you choose an advisor with MFAA, you are getting a professional who won't sell you a product, who knows the military life, and will plan using your hard-earned military benefits.
Whether you're navigating a step out of the military after 4 years, a military retirement, or a transition into a work-optional lifestyle, MFAA advisors speak your language.
Visit militaryfinancialadvisors.org to find an advisor who fits your mission.
MFAA, real advice, real experience.
This advertisement is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or tax advice. All investing involves risk, including the loss of principal. Information and opinions provided within the Fiscal Foxhole do not necessarily reflect official positions or opinions of the Military Financial Advisors Association or its members. Consult a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions.
I love these stories about spending Christmases elsewhere. You know, Megan and I had an opportunity, and this is my next experience, to be an exchange officer with the Royal Air Force. So we lived in England for 3 years, and those were some of our favorite Christmases somewhere else. If you can just, you think of idyllic. If you think about a small English village with a castle, I mean, just a castle, right?
Yeah. No big deal.
And a 1,000-year-old cathedral and the German Christmas markets that come over with their mulled wine and all their various crafts. And Megan and I are actually jonesing a little bit for a German Christmas market at the moment. Well, can we go up to northern Pennsylvania and go to a Christmas market?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was just such a, I don't know, it's just indescribable Christmas feeling in that particular country at that time with the village. It was just so nice. Some of our very favorite times.
Did you have the boys with you at that time?
We did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we sure did.
Do they recall that, or were they too young?
Oh no, they were teenagers. So, and they'll agree, like, without getting into too much detail, England was hot and cold with the boys. So we all wanted to go over there, but there were some elements about England that we were small fine print, I'll just say. But I love our time over there. I love our friends over there. It was mainly the weather, right? Like when they talk about kind of the dreary, dark English weather, like that's legit.
Yeah.
It's absolutely legit. So there were some elements of that played with our senses some, but man, when it came to Christmas, like bring it on. Give us the snow, give us the dark, give us the mulled wine. Yeah, it was awesome.
It sounds like that's going to be on the docket for future trips.
Oh,
to
yes.
get back. Yeah. That's one thing I'm looking forward to in retirement, is that now I don't have to put in leave for any of that stuff, right? And especially being self-employed, running a business, I can just, hey, let's go. Yeah, let's go do it. You would go last minute to London, which I'd never done. Like, I would really love to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Self-employed, and you can just take your laptop with you and work from abroad. So yeah.
Amen. That's a great one. I like that. All right. So keeping on the theme of travel, and then what my next Christmas story is from the next year after we went to New York City. The next year was 2007. We spent Christmas in the Smoky Mountains with my parents and my sister and her husband, and their newborn daughter, Abby, was just born at that time. This also happened to coincide with the first year I started performing the Nutcracker out here in Virginia. I do that every year now. It's coming up almost on 20 years that I've been doing it, playing. I love it. I like playing the book. It's really actually kind of difficult percussion, some tricky spots that I really enjoy tackling every year. But I just love the kids, coming down to the pit and looking in and peering in, everyone in their outfits, dressed up to come out to the ballet to watch. That's a part of it. But that was my first one. So after we closed out the run of the Nutcracker, Jen and I hopped in the truck and we headed out to Gatlinburg. And my parents had arranged home in the Smoky Mountains for us to be there with everybody. And we got there first, kind of spent time decorating the cabin a little bit. We had music on. having some snacks and some wine and waiting for everyone to show up. And for the next 3 days, we spent time really focused on our family, enjoying our newborn niece. This was also, the last one we had without Mary. This was our last Christmas, just the two of us before our family started. So just a really wonderful Christmas experience. By the way, really interesting. I got a gift that you'll laugh at that blew my mind. I got a Garmin that year from my parents. And not
Really?
Yeah, not even the flat screen. Do you remember the old ones that had it almost looked like a CRT TV with the back on it, the big blown out backside? It was kind of like a big bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that one. And this was so early technology, and it blew my mind. I just couldn't believe it. And I remember driving home from Gatlinburg with that thing stuck up on the windshield and watching it, and just looking at it too often, because I couldn't believe the technology, everything went into it. Now I take for granted. But before that, I realized when we drove down to Gatlinburg, we had the big 50-page atlas.
The maps.
Yeah, we had that with us, or maybe a MapQuest printout. But that was the last time we used it. And ever since then, we've had the Garmin.
Yeah. Remember the TomTom?
That was after.
You remember that?
I think that was
that after the Garmin?
I think that was a competitor. Yeah. Or maybe around similar time. But
yeah.
Very early.
I remember we had the Tom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do remember that feeling like I'm looking at this screen too much and not the road. Do remember that for sure. Yeah. Well, last stories here. So for me, we had one in 2010. And I'm going to have to send you a picture, Rob.
He's getting
I'm going to
emotional.
have to send you a picture.
Are you getting emotional?
No, it's just frog in the throat. I'm going to have to send you a picture of this facial expression that our youngest son, Gabe, had when he was growing up as a kid. Whenever he got confused or inquisitive about something, it was always like this sideway, like crazy look. I know nobody could see this. I'm trying to visualize this in audio land that doesn't work, but just this crazy look on his face. And in 2010, we had left Alabama because I graduated Auburn in 2009. We actually came up here to Quantico for the basic school. But over that Christmas, we decided to go back down to Alabama and spend the Christmas with our friends. And so that Christmas, our friends wanted to surprise their daughter with this little toy dog, right? And so they let this thing out, and it's kind of running across the floor. And Gabe gets this look on his face. It's that look, his weird inquisitive look, and then says, "Is it real?" And just that quote, it is legend in our house. It's legend with the family we were staying with. Every time we go to see him, that quote comes out. It's just, what do you expect from, at that time, he was 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
And he just sees this dog that quite literally looks like a toy, mm-hmm. and maybe a mechanical toy at that, just kind of chirping across the floor. Yeah. And just that weird look on his face that I'll never forget.
Is it real?
And is it real?
That reminds me, I promised we wouldn't talk too much about Christmas movies, but in my favorite one, 8-Bit Christmas, they have a particularly ugly looking dog that gets injured. And at one point in the movie, it's our favorite line from it, and we laugh and we say it all the time, especially our current dog. But a picture of it appears, and it's injured. It looks very ugly and weird. And from the back of the room, very subtly, you hear, "Is that a dog?" It's buried in all the other dialect. So it's very faint and small, but we love it. The first time we heard it, we had to rewind it to make sure, and then everyone's laughing. And so is it real? Is it a dog? All right. I teased you about getting emotional about that last one, because this one might get me a little bit. Yeah. So I didn't realize when I was putting these are sequential. So it went 2006, 2007. This one's 2008. So their first one with Mary, she was born in October. And we had just gone through a particularly tough spell with her because we found out she had a casein allergy. It erupted just, maybe 6 weeks after she was born. So closing in on Christmas, suddenly we went through a really hard time for about 7 or 8 days. We thought it was colic, but it was a nightmare. Sleepless nights for both Jenna and myself. We weren't sure what to do. We were she wasn't really getting a lot of food down. Needless to say, it was pretty stressful. Not an easy time. But fortunately, we had a great pediatrician. He recommended that Jenna go off dairy So Mary would be off dairy, right? And right away it cleared up. So, I mean, within a day it went away. So we went from this crying infant that wouldn't sleep ever and was having other really tough symptoms that we got our baby back within 24 hours.
Nice.
It was really wonderful. So that happened. I mean, that happened probably like a week before Christmas that we finally solved that problem. So with all that relief built in, we got in bed on Christmas Eve and we actually brought her in to our room between us on the bed, and we kept her in her car seat carrier. And because she had fallen asleep on the way home, and we're like, well, let's bring her in. We were going to watch Polar Express. Well, she had woken up and we watched the Polar Express in our bed, Mary between us in that car seat carrier. And I just kept checking, and I see her little sweet little eyes just watching the screen. She watched the whole thing and eventually fell asleep. I will tell you the impact of when we were done, I got to carry her into her bed and put her down in her crib. In that moment on Christmas Eve, 2008, it's what I said to my mom. I was like, the magic is back. Like as you grow up, it's this weird thing where, you come out of childhood and young adulthood, and Christmas is always special and you go home and see your family. But there was something that I had forgotten about, and that's the magic of it. And I felt all of it in that moment. It's the relief of her feeling better and being happy and care for, she was such a sweet baby, I had her back and she was okay. She was going to be healthy. And the relief of that coupled with Christmas Eve and watching them, it was really a wonderful, powerful moment that it made it really special. And I've enjoyed that magic ever since then. Now that the kids are older, it's a little bit different. And I know that it'll come around again with grandkids, but yeah, just hold on to the magic. If you're a parent of a kid, hold on to it.
Yeah. No, I love that. I was going to say that same thing. It's funny how the magic kind of ebbs and flows, but it generally ebbs and flows with kids. Mm-hmm. And so as your kid yourself, you love it. And then when it's your own kids, you love it. And when it's your grandkids and your great grandkids, like, it's awesome. So
just a warning, don't have a cocktail and talk about your first Christmas with your newborn daughter. Definitely feeling warmer now, but yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, let's get to more fun stuff. You threw some.
Hang on, we got a bonus round.
I know you threw some bonus.
We got a bonus round on here.
All right. So what are we talking about?
So I want to do a quick bonus round with you. Like we don't have to go into huge amounts of stories here, but I wanted to do best gifts, worst gifts. Go. Okay. All right. So let's see here. I like how we have this set up. So I'll start here with my best gift that I ever got, and then I'll hand it over to you for your best gift. All right.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Here we go. Mm-hmm. My best gift was a tractor. Like, it was a riding tractor growing up, like one that you pedal, almost like a tricycle, but it was I don't know, in the form of a tractor. Mm-hmm. Favorite gift ever. And if you had listened, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I will redirect you back to Lacey Langford's podcast, an interview I did with her about the infatuation with construction equipment and the fact that I've picked the wrong career. Like,
you picked it twice. Picked it twice, by the way.
I picked it twice. I know. I love construction equipment. Like, the best things ever. A lot of fun. That was the most memorable gift I ever got.
That's really great. So did you take that to college with you? Or were you like 17 when you got that?
Just my knees. Beep, 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 beep.
Take it to class.
That's right.
All right. Best one, easy for me. Man, I talk about 8-bit Christmas a lot. Nintendo. I'll never forget it. A lot of good Christmas gifts throughout the years. The drum set being one. I got like a compound bow. One time we lived in Michigan, so that was kind of like the thing. Got a lot of really cool gifts. The Nintendo probably shines them all because it's something I wanted the most, and I have a lot of memories playing. I remember I played it with my mom too, but I just remember we were in Texas, got the Nintendo, and played it for a long time, multiple years after that. And like I said, played with my family, played with my sister. My mom actually did really well in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out one time. We were all in my room and she was playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out just kind of as a goof. We were hanging out and she's like, how are you so good at this? Nice. Yeah, Nintendo though. Nintendo all day, every day. All right, well, we got the worst one? Right. Worst ones?
So now the worst gift. All right. So you want to know my worst gift? Yeah. Nintendo.
No, stop. Are you playing with me?
Dead serious.
How is that your worst gift? There's no way.
So there's 4 of us kids and one Nintendo. And my dad knew that we all wanted a Nintendo. But I think in the back of his mind, he always knew that there was going to be some element of like, how are these kids ever going to share this thing? I'm going to have to enforce time limits and it's going to be a waste of time. And my dad's an academic as well. So he didn't really see the value of Nintendos. He'd rather us go turn over rocks in the creek. He was a biologist. Like he'd rather us go see us play outside. So we get the Nintendo for Christmas. We're all ecstatic. And like 4 days later, the thing doesn't work. I mean, we've done everything we know how to do.
Oh, no.
You're blowing out the games. You're like, I don't know if you ever ended up having to do this ever, but there was this trick where you'd have to like put a pencil in when you like brought the game down. Instead of taking it down all the way, like you'd put a pencil in, and so it'd prevent it from coming back up. But it was at a level that was just right where the computer would read the disc. Yeah, we were trying all kinds of tricks to try to get this thing to work, and it would not work. And my dad was like, "Oh, that's too bad." And he took it back, and he never got us a replacement. That was the end of that.
Oh. So it's Nintendo related. The Nintendo itself, had it worked, possibly could have been a good Christmas gift, but it was the experience around it, right?
Yep.
Now I never saw the pencil trick. I knew the blowing trick. You had to blow in it to get it to work, but that's a bummer. It did probably save you some fights though, for sure, if you had to share it with four kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst one for me actually was not a gift that ever materialized. And it was only because this is the kind of the guilt I feel that I carry with me even still a little bit to this day. So with apologies to my mom. She had gotten me a gift, it was probably 6 days before Christmas. She had got me something, she had wrapped it up and she put it in the tree. I remember this. She walked me to the tree and she was like, "Hey, there's a new present here and it's up in the tree." And she wanted me to guess what it was. Even though we still had a number of days to Christmas, she's like, "What do you think it is?" And I was probably 5 or 6 maybe, in my young child brain, I said, "Are they wristwatch walkie-talkies?" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Are they walkie-talkies that like a wristwatch that's like a walkie-talkie?" And I don't know where I got this. I probably saw it on some show like the A-Team or I don't know.
Specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, I could see the kind of look on her face. But then now I had that in my mind. And I was like, that's what I really want. So my poor mom, not only did she go through, like she had bought this gift and wrapped it, she put it in the tree really thoughtfully, but now I threw a grenade in her life of this thing that I really wanted. Now she has a heart of gold, and she was just like, "I have to find wristwatch walkie-talkies." And she did the thing where she went out everywhere. And of course, this doesn't exist for a child in 1983. So it's just it's a futile mission to begin with. There's no way she's going to find it. And she was heartbroken she couldn't get him for me, because then I had my heart. That's the only thing I wanted from that moment on. So I feel really,
Rob.
I know, it's terrible. I don't remember what it was that was in there. I was really disappointed. My mom explained to me, she's like, "I'm so sorry. I tried to find it."
Oh my God.
I know.
Rob.
Gosh, my poor mom. Now, I mean, for me, like if my kids said something outlandish and crazy like that, I'd be like, "It's not happening. No, sorry." That doesn't exist in the world that we occupy. So probably not going to happen. Right. Yeah. But she's a better person than me.
NORAD's not tracking that Santa tonight.
So,
not the one carrying that gift.
No. Hey, my Kahlua is out. So we must be near the end here, right?
Yep. We are moving into our trivia segment. And good news for you, Rob. You don't even have to try, because it's impossible for you to win this year.
That's my MO. I don't even have to try. I love it. I can do that.
So yeah, just keep it easy, right? Yeah. Our never-ending trivia challenge here between the two of us is, as I've already said, almost done for the year. Rob is still at 0. I happen to luckily somehow get 2 points through this whole thing.
Yep.
The challenge does end on December 31st. However, we only have one more episode left. So,
yep.
And I've got a trivia question coming to me, right?
Yep. And since you've already secured this thing up, I came up with one that was a little bit more fun, and it's actually kind of impossible to know the right answer for sure. So I thought this was appropriate. Like, you get it right, who cares? You still win anyway. If you get it wrong, I get to make fun of you for not knowing something that's completely unknowable. So the question to you...
Isn't that all of our trivia? Isn't that all of our trivia questions?
Pretty much. Like, I guess you could know. They're all like factually based, but like you'd have to be some kind of nerd to know stuff that we've asked each other in the past. But there's no way to know this one. In fact, the sources don't even know this for sure. This is all this is all estimate, right? And you'll see why in a moment. All right. So the question on this Christmas Eve, before we part ways and spend Christmas morning with our families, to you, Omen, how many homes does Santa Claus need to visit on Christmas Eve, approximately? Is it A, 10 million, B, 100 million, C, 500 million, or D, 1 billion? 1 billion. 1 billion homes.
1 billion homes. Well, as you went through this, I was thinking probably somewhere around 4 billion, but clearly that's not an answer.
Well, I'm not sharing the logic. There is logic behind the answer here, but I'm not sharing it with you because it'll probably help you hone in on the correct number.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It's like, okay, well, maybe not all homes have kids in them, so maybe Santa's not visiting those homes. Let's see here. So if I just come down from that, I would say given average family 2.5 kids per home. Just kidding. I'm going to go with 1 billion.
1 billion. That's D, $1 billion.
The $1 billion.
That is the dumbest answer you could have possibly known. That's actually what I thought it would have been too. But you're wrong. Sorry.
Okay.
It's not 1 billion as far as we know. And of course, no one knows exactly how many homes. We just know that he visits all the homes with children. So the logic behind this is that this is assuming there's around 2 billion children worldwide. So you started off on the right path. But the couple sources I found actually estimated a higher per household number of children, because I think the United States is probably, 2.5? Yeah. Around the world is closer to 4, I think, for the homes that have families.
Yep.
So that brought it down to actually, brought it up to 4 children per household, and then brought the number down to 500 million homes approximately that he hits. And approximately what would that be? 2 billion cookies, 2 to 4 billion cookies he eats every year.
That's a big man. That's a big man.
That is. Yeah, that's strong work right there. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, good. Hey, so therefore, in your face, we're still locked in at 2.0. I can cover half. I can at least get a respectable 2-1 loss out of this, a moral victory next week. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Rob, thanks for the question. And that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of the Fiscal Foxhole. We hope you took away something, as always, as you can use in your life. And today was definitely not financial.
Nope.
Hopefully today you actually took away some ways to just think about Christmas a little bit differently and the experiences that your finances actually support. We appreciate you hanging out with us in the financial trenches, particularly on this Christmas Eve, where we know you could be with somebody else, and hopefully you are with somebody else besides Rob and I, because that would be a really lonely Christmas Eve. But we want to take a moment real quick to wish all of your families the merriest of Christmases, and we cannot wait for our next week's episode on New Year's Eve. Stay tuned for a really great show there as well. Lastly, if you enjoyed this show, please share this with a friend. Give us a review. We'd love it if you would. So, Rob, so people can get out of here and start watching 24 hours of the real Christmas story, what are our practical takeaways?
Thank you, Omen. Today's practical takeaways from our not-so-practical Christmas story episode is, number 1, some of the most meaningful Christmas traditions, like NORAD tracks Santa, aren't about budgets or scale, they're about showing up. 2, our favorite Christmas memories prove there's no single right way to do the holidays. Each season of life brings its own version, aka best Christmas ever. And number 3, our sweater and drink choices prove that it's possible for good judgment to take the holidays off.
Amen.
Merry Christmas, buddy.
Merry Christmas.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have questions you'd like answered on the show, please send us a note to fiscalfoxhole@gmail.com. If you heard something today that you'd like to discuss further, or you just want to dig deeper into your own financial game plan, both Rob and Omen are accepting new clients and always happy to chat. You'll find the links to their websites or to book appointments in the show notes. Rob Moore and Omen Quelvog are both registered investment advisor representatives. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. While they are both advisors, they are not your advisors. Therefore, nothing you hear on Fiscal Foxhole should be taken as specific investment, legal, or tax advice. For guidance tailored to your situation, please consult a qualified professional who understands your individual circumstances.
Omen, as my cup is dry here, feeling good, feeling very warm, thinking about, and all this Christmas talk, it's got me thinking about the other great things that happens around this time, and that is the conclusion of football season, aka the run up to the playoffs in NFL and college football. The bowl season is upon us officially. It's kind of a sad season this year for me. I'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, do you and Megan, do you guys watch all that?
Yeah, I mean, we do keep up with the bowl season. I think this time around, it's more likely to be on the NFL side of things than the bowl season. I mean, yet again, Auburn, I think they were invited to like the Meineke Hair Care Auto Tire Center Oil Bowl or something like that.
Yeah,
they decided, probably not for us this year. But even then, that they didn't even have a 500 season. So, yeah, I don't even know how that happened. So, another disappointing year, but I will keep up with the SEC in general. I am a fan of the SEC, so we will keep up with how that's going with Georgia and Alabama. So
nice.
Yeah.
What's your What's your pro team, by the way? Have we talked about this?
Yeah, I don't know if we've actually talked about it. So Megan took a different take on it. We by family association were following Seattle for quite a while. And then after we lived in England, one of our experiences there was going to Wembley for NFL overseas.
We did talk about this.
So we actually went.
Yeah.
Oh, did we talk about this on the show?
So, because the Colt, or not the Colt, Baltimore Court. I'm not that old. The Ravens were there, right?
Yeah, the Ravens were there. Okay. So when we went to Wembley, all 36 teams were represented there at Wembley. And the take that we had from our interactions with English people was that they just chose a team. I mean, clearly they're not from any of the places where there's a NFL team. So they just pick one and they go with it. For some reason, a lot of Browns fans, I got nothing. Like, I don't know how that happens. But, Megan kind of took a cue from them. And when we got back here to the States and we got settled in, she kind of took a look around the NFL and was like, you know what? She's been in love with Mike Tomlin forever.
Yeah, good pick.
And she really loves what Pittsburgh represents. And so she, I am a Pittsburgh fan. We actually have a chance to drive up there and see a game occasionally. Whereas if we were in Seattle, like we'd have to fly to that game.
Yeah.
So Megan she's got the terrible towel. Like that's pretty much where she's at with it. I really don't care a whole lot. So I just I'm good with any team at the.
Yeah. Why not? I mean,
I'm good with
the players.
team.
The players do that. They move around. So why can't you move around your fandom? From team to team. Yeah. I grew up in Kansas City, so that's kind of always where I will be. It's a bad year. Now, no one's going to cry any tears for me this year because they've been in the playoffs the last 11 years and how many Super Bowls have they won and been in. But yeah, that was really tough watching them get eliminated, even from playoff contention. It's a rare year now. I'm used to them at least being in the hunt or have it locked down and playing for their seed going into the playoffs at this time of year. But this is going to be an odd one. They're playing on Christmas. So I was really looking forward to that. I still watch. And now Mahomes is out, busted ACL. It's just really tough. It's been a tough year. I could tell from the very beginning. They just didn't have it. But I'm not going to jump allegiances just yet. But I do kind of a fan of the sport in general. So I'll watch other games. Still watch the Chiefs, of course, and see if they can be back. By the way, I got a really great belated retirement gift. I know that sounds odd. I'm not retired yet, but I had my retirement ceremony. A buddy of mine the other day dropped off a late gift to my house because it wasn't prepared in time. I wasn't ready, but it was a flag flown at Arrowhead on Veterans Day.
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it came with
Yeah.
the picture. It has the picture of it too, that they raised it on Veterans Day. I think they did this for a handful of folks too, but certified flag flown at Arrowhead on Veterans Day, and then packed up and shipped to him to bring over to me. So it was a really cool gift. And I have to also bring up my college team, since you brought up Auburn. It's a sad season for me all around. So the Chiefs are out of it. The Spartans just couldn't do anything from the beginning. So they were out of bowl contention long ago and they just didn't get any better the rest of the season. But the silver lining to that is they got a new coach, which I'm excited about. They hired Pat Fitzgerald. He did good things at Northwestern. So I've got high hopes between NIL and the resources at Michigan State. I'm hoping he can turn it around.
Well, I was going to mention, like, if we back up to the Chiefs, like, don't fret about Patrick Mahomes and his torn ACL.
Yeah.
Because you guys have Gardner Minshew. Like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
This is going to be amazing. There's a complete party going on in Chiefs land now.
I already told you I was going to watch. Like, why do you have to rub it in? It'll be another Kahlua day for sure, watching football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can understand what you're saying about the Spartans. Auburn just hired a new coach. I can't even remember who his name is at the moment. But my expectations are still low. So that way I'm not disappointed.